Victor Wembanyama is the type of player that fans thought they could only see through NBA's 2K's Create a Player mode. A 7'4" positionless player that has the scoring ability of Kevin Durant, the handles of Kyrie Irving, and the defensive presence of Rudy Gobert. The NBA world has been buzzing about him ever since the first few clips of him playing in the G League surfaced. His game is so highly valued that NBA teams are willing to do this to get him on their team. Victor Wembanyama has taken the NBA by storm, and he hasn't even been drafted yet. Over the past few months, Wembanyama has cemented himself as one of the most exciting young prospects in recent memory. From his highlight reel performance to his duel against Scoot Henderson, Wembanyama has dominated the headlines. Wembanyama has been so hyped that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver had to warn teams not to tank for the young star. He even threatened to relegate the teams to the G League. This season is a race to the bottom for a lot of teams. The Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes have begun. Wembanyama, who plays for the French team Metropolitans 92, posted 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks in a game earlier this week. Wembanyama has been putting the basketball world on notice. NBA fans reacted to his recent performance on Twitter. It isn't just NBA fans and executives that have been preparing for the arrival of Victor Wembanyama. The league's biggest stars have taken notice of the 7'3" phenom. Many players are eager to see how he performs under the bright lights. Two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo recently spoke about Wembanyama with his teammate Serge Ibaka. During an episode of How Hungry Are You?, Ibaka asked Antetokounmpo to share his thoughts on Wembanyama. The Greek freak had a lot of positive things to say about the 18-year-old. With his ability to handle the ball like a guard and hit shots from all over the court, Wembanyama seems like a fictional player. As Antetokounmpo pointed out, the league hasn't seen anybody like him before. Despite that, there is one player who many feel is similar to Wembanyama, Bol Bol. Watch enough basketball year after year, and the phrase, "you've never seen a prospect like this," starts to sound like the boy who cried wolf. In 2019, the description worked for Zion Williamson. 2021, it was affixed to Chet Holmgren. And from last year until the 2023 draft, you're sure to hear countless times about Victor Wembanyama. But seriously, you've never seen a prospect like this. For months, grainy videos of the 18-year-old, 7'2", do-everything big man dominating outmatched opponents have trickled from across the pond and onto Twitter timelines. But most clips were filmed at difficult angles for the viewer and often looked like footage taken by the team manager from the 90s. NBA scouts and executives have taken notice of Wembanyama's impressive skill set, and he is considered a top prospect for the NBA draft. Some have compared him to other great international big men like Kristaps Porzingis and Dirk Nowitzki, while others believe he has the potential to be even better. While the NBA does not publicly comment on individual prospects, many analysts and draft experts believe that Wembanyama has a bright future in the league. He is currently projected to be a top 5 pick in the 2023 NBA draft, and many teams are likely to be interested in his services. In a showcase game against another contender for the 2023 NBA draft's top pick, Wembanyama and Paris, France's Metropolitan 92s took on Scott Henderson and the G League Ignite. The latter squad got the win, and Henderson went off for 28 points and 9 assists. But Wembanyama's performance was the one that captivated NBA Twitter, and presumably any NBA scout and executive paying attention. The highlights spoke for themselves. While spearheading a 20-point comeback, Wembanyama hit a step-back 3 from the corner. He drilled a catch-and-shoot triple in transition, running toward the wing and with a hand in his face to extent anyone can get a hand in his face. He faced up and isolated veteran big man Eric Micah in the mid-post, hit him with a series of fakes, and hit a step-back mid-range jumper. On more than one occasion, he completely took over the game on both ends of the floor over the course of multiple possessions. His entire 28-point second half was cackle-inducing. It felt impossible to watch a player with that frame, moving the way he was and hitting the shots he took without reacting. Again, we've never seen a player like this, so comparisons are tough to muster, but they're the backbone of prospect descriptions. And the only names that come to mind when watching Wembanyama are all-timers. Brace yourselves. The fully realized version of Wembanyama could be a 7+ foot Kevin Durant on offense and a more mobile Rudy Gobert on defense. Such lofty comparisons are rarely fair. It wasn't for Brandon Ingram when he was dubbed the next KD. Expecting anyone to be a multi-time Defensive Player of the Year is probably silly, too. But those are the names that naturally come to mind when you see clips like those above and blocks like this. The way he met Scott at the apex of a drive in the clutch looked even more like Wembanyama's compatriot. What kind of hype is warranted? He finished the contest with 5 blocks against a surefire NBA-level athlete. The entire game was played against stiffer competition than anything we see in the NCAA, and Wembanyama looked like the best player on the floor. In the highest-profile game of his life, the 18-year-old phenom more than rose to the occasion. He answered questions about the reality of his shooting, his ability to hold up against size and athleticism, and how he might fit into an NBA scheme on either end. He'll surely need to fill out a bit over the next few seasons. Here's another name we maybe shouldn't invoke, but Giannis Antetokounmpo was able to add the weight and muscle necessary to dominate. Wembanyama should be able to, too. His concerning injury history may be even more critical for him.